Yo, 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 what is good with everybody on this fine Saturday morning? I wanted to get on here and make sure I put my pick'ems on here for that college football for you guys, at least, you know, before the games get going real heavy. And we only gonna really do the top 25 today. I started doing the count for the pick'ems and stuff like that, but I was getting thrown off on which teams I was picking and stuff, so I gotta redo my count. I started doing it like last night, but I was like, I'm gonna just get up in the morning, try and read them. And I was like, nah, I'm gonna just do that next weekend. We'll keep moving, but at least for this week, we're gonna go ahead and just get the pick'ems on out the way. I'm gonna give my little tidbits on some of the schools, but we just gonna keep them moving for a majority of the part for this morning. I hope y'all having a great morning, great Saturday. Start your day off good. Seeing my face. But let's go ahead and get right into it. Number G takes. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe, folks. But we got Clemson versus Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech been looking good for the past 2 weeks. Honestly, been one of the better teams. Need to be top 25 at this point. I got Georgia Tech, honestly. I'm not saying that I don't believe in Clemson or what they have going on right now, but it just don't look good. So I'm gonna roll with what looks good right now, and I'm gonna roll with Clemson on that one. Um, Wisconsin versus Alabama. I'm gonna go with Alabama. Alabama look a lot better, even though that was a Pee Wee school. Still, I think they look a lot better than what they did on 2 weeks ago against Florida State. They at least look physical. You know what I mean? They at least look like they wanted to come out there and play some football. I think that's all we asking for. Georgia versus Tennessee. I got Georgia. The offense might not look the best. It looks very sketchy at times, but at the end of the day, defense wins championships, and that defense is nasty. I definitely think we have a few studs that are gonna make some noise this year, and I can't wait to see what happens with them. But hopefully, we can get back to, like I said, old school Alabama. Shoot, go back there and let the offense do whatever it is they do, and hold them to 3 points a game from the defense standpoint. I think the offense of Tennessee is going to be really good this year. I don't know what Joey is going to look like against an elite defense, but from the teams that he has played and for the schedule that they do have, I think that they're going to do pretty good this year. Should be a playoff team. We'll see. Uh, Oregon versus Northwestern. I got Oregon. Honestly and truly, they just got a lot of freshmen that look good. Like, and they're one of the only teams that I've seen like really putting the freshmen on the field like that to actually make plays and do things and honestly to be a starter. So, and a lot of those freshmen are showing you that they compete at a high level. So it's interesting to see that they're the top team with the most freshmen kind of like rolling right now. You know what I mean? We got Auburn versus South Alabama. I'm gonna go with Auburn. Auburn been looking kind of decent, but only been playing Pee Wee schools, so we gotta see what they look like when they get into SEC play. Same with Missouri versus Louisiana. That's not Monroe, but Louisiana. Y'all know which one I'm talking about. The Canes, the Raging Canes. Those ones. But cause what is it? Louisiana Lafayette. I can't. They don't never show their whole name, but anyways, I'm gonna go with Missouri. But I like Missouri's quarterback. Now, what they gonna look like in SEC play, I don't know. But I like their quarterback. Their quarterback was highly rated in my eyes when he was at Penn State. So I'm glad that he has his own team now. Penn State versus Villanova. Penn State. Not really gonna speak on that one too much. Oregon State versus Texas Tech. I have Texas Tech winning, especially with, like I said, the wide receivers and the quarterback play that they have. I definitely think that's going to be an interesting team to be on the lookout for this year. Oregon State, I don't really know what they have going on right now. Yeah, we'll see what Oregon State looks like next year when they open up the Pac-12 again. Iowa State versus Arkansas State. I got Iowa State. UTEP versus Texas. I got Texas. We not gonna really speak up on these too much. We got Miami versus South Alabama. I'm gonna go with Miami. Like I told y'all last week that South Florida was gonna pull out one of them wins versus Florida or Miami. So we got the 1-or. Now I don't know if they're gonna go to Miami and do the same thing to Miami, but for right now, I'm gonna go with Miami. But the scary team, the sleeper team that everybody in Florida need to be worried about is South Florida. Because I told y'all them boys is coming. They hungry, they ready. And they said we tired of being, the scrub of Florida. Because South Florida used to be good back in the day, at least decent. Could make it to a couple bowl games and look, competitive and stuff like that. These last couple years, y'all might have forgotten, but them boys, they coming and they hungry, and I love to see it. So you got Miami and South Florida. I'm gonna go with Miami, but I can definitely see a world where South Florida pulls that one out. But we're gonna go with Miami. Ohio versus Ohio State. Ohio State. Western Michigan versus Illinois. We're gonna go Illinois. I already told y'all Illinois, they're gonna be a sleeper team this year, and they've been showing up. Arkansas versus Ole Miss. I'm gonna go. Whew, I want to go Arkansas if I'm being honest. Only because I feel like Arkansas's defense looks a lot better. They look a lot better. Offense looks a lot better. Looks like they have an identity. Ole Miss, they do have high recruits and a high recruited quarterback. I just don't trust them. I just personally I don't trust bro. And I trust what they have going on in Arkansas. I'm gonna go Arkansas. I want to see if they can pull that one off. LSU versus Florida. I got LSU. I think Billy Napier needs to go. The offense looks terrible, terrible. Like you have DJ Lagway, and yet we can't even score more than 20 points a game. It's a struggle to get 14. Too many high recruits. Even though I will say he has not had, the Georgia level, the Alabama level. Shoot, Tennessee even getting more recruits than they are nowadays. Heck, even Miami. So, I will say that Florida is still on the uprise when it comes down to recruits, but still, you have enough pieces that there's no way that you dropping 55 against Long Island, and then you can't even get over 20 points against South Florida. So, I don't know what's gonna happen with Florida, but yeah, I'm gonna go LSU on that one. Notre Dame versus Texas A&M. I'm going Texas A&M. I'm gonna speak on this real quick because at the end of the day, I definitely think that it's just like the world that we live in. But you know, people always have something to say, and not about me or my channel or anything like that. But one of the main reasons why I do not like Notre Dame is because they're openly, about it. And they came out and they had said something about like a week ago on one of their podcasts or whatnot, where they was calling the Alabama or the Miami boys thugs and criminals and all the rest of that stuff. Mind you, that's a Notre Dame podcast with the kids or the people that literally went to Notre Dame and or support the school, whatever, in some sort of way. That's how all of them think over there. That's how all of them cats out there think and that go to Notre Dame. They all like that, and they think that they gonna change, my perspective. Let me put it like that, because they changing a whole bunch of other people's perspective. That look like me, but you're not finna change my perspective on that right there. When y'all blatantly like that, been blatantly like that for years, and I'm not gonna support you just because you go get a black head coach. That right there don't like. Just because you go get a black head coach, that don't fix what you got going on as a school, you know what I'm saying, as an organization. And the black kids that go there, that just shows what they, how they feel about themselves and stuff like that. And to be honest, a lot of them, you know, I throw my hands up to that, because right there, me personally, Yes, every school might be a little, but openly, and they telling you and showing you openly year after year, that's crazy to me. I'm going there to get that money off them. Okay, cool. Go ahead, get that money off them. Go do what you got to do, big dog. But me, I'm not doing that. That's my little tidbit on why I don't like Notre Dame. But at the end of the day, I don't want Notre Dame to win nothing. Nothing. They also have the easiest cheapskate freaking schedule that they don't schedule nobody. They don't schedule nobody, and that's why they went and lost to Miami. When they join a conference is when I will give them an ounce of respect. Until they join a conference, nothing. And honestly and truly, until they have a schedule that is top 30 every year, top 25 every year, then that's when I will give Notre Dame respect. Because at the end of the day, you going out there with the 100th, strength of schedule every year, and then let's just walk into the playoffs and stuff like that. Like that is so lame. But it is what it is. That's my little tidbit. I'm going Texas A&M strictly because I don't too much care about them people. And they took a loss, and I think they moved up a spot or they moved down like one spot. Took a loss, moved up a spot, moved down one spot. You can't tell me the right name on the wall, bro. The wall, we need you here. Gotta let him in. Gotta keep him in. Come on, bro. Anyways, Utah versus Wyoming. I got Utah. Utah got some boys, some folks on their team, and I'm talking about. I love the way they use all their players, man. They be playing both sides and stuff like that, man. I just love the way Utah uses their stars, honestly and truly, their players and stuff like that. They've always been like that. They've always been like that. And then Indiana versus Indiana State. I think that played yesterday. Indiana beat the brakes off them boys. So yeah, that was nasty. But I told y'all that the Indiana quarterback, he nice. He gonna be like that. I think that he's definitely gonna give Penn State a run for their money in a couple weeks. So I definitely think that that's gonna be the game of the week for sure when that happens because he has a chance to make some shake. And again, let me go look at this Indiana schedule. So they got Illinois next week or the week after. They got Oregon in 4 weeks. Then they got Penn State at the end of or in the beginning of November. So like I said, man, they got a gauntlet. They got a gauntlet. If they can win, if they can scrape out two of those wins, if they can scrape out one of those wins, possibly could still end up in the playoffs with two losses, possibly. So, you know, college football is interesting time right now. We got 12 teams in the playoffs, so I can't wait to see what everything looks like and how things unfold. I did take Arkansas with that Ole Miss. That's my one spicy pick for this week. My Arkansas versus Ole Miss. I just love how Arkansas's offense looks this year. Like they just look like they have an identity. They look like they have things rolling. If they can cut down on the interceptions, the minimal mistakes and stuff like that, honestly and truly, Arkansas could be a really good team. Like I said, they just need to cut the interceptions down, and yeah, quarterback play looking good this year. Tylen Green, he's making it happen. He said, "This is my senior year. I got to make some shake." Last year, it wasn't looking too good for me. It was not. It was not. I forgot he was at Boise State, to be honest. But that's it for this video, guys. I appreciate y'all for coming out, listening. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share this with your homies, your friends, all that good stuff. And y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all have a great day, man. Peace.